On this edition of Good Day DePaul, COVID-19. Many at DePaul have moved past it, but some are still concerned.
DePaul sees a drop in enrollment.
And some cinema students at DePaul create a unique program. I'm Alyssa Gomez.
And I'm Shadan Gomez, and this is Good Day DePaul. Some discouraging news about enrollment levels and revenue levels at DePaul. Overall, enrollment is continuing to decline. The most significant declines are in graduate, adult, and continuing education enrollments. Transfer students' enrollments are also down. The one bit of good news is there's been an increase in freshman enrollment, plus international student enrollment.
This information comes from the university's Joint Council, which includes DePaul executives, deans, and vice presidents, plus the presidents of the Faculty Council, Staff Council, and Student Government Association.
In terms of enrollment declines, the Joint Council says, quote, "These declines simply mean that we must think through how we spend our budget in the current year. There are still many variables that will determine the annual health of our university, but the current projections predict these enrollment declines will create budget gap in our current year that will need to be addressed, but is manageable."
To deal with this budget gap, the council says it's reviewing several steps that the university might consider. They include deferring non-urgent facilities maintenance, selling underutilized assets, examining strategies to increase retention of students, and considering ways to improve efficiencies. They say they will also ask each area of the university to think about ways to slow down spending.
Finally, the council says it will focus on being as protective as possible of employee salary adjustments, securing positions around the university, and maintaining DePaul's academic quality.
Here at DePaul, many of the university's COVID-19 rules are no longer in effect, but some people are still concerned. Good Day DePaul's Lily Lowndes has our report.
DePaul has been a mask-friendly campus since last April, meaning community members can choose whether to mask up or not. Student Amanda Operana appreciates the mask-friendly message.
I like that DePaul gives us the option and that they emphasize that no one is judging whether you wear a mask or not, so it's nice.
Operana says that she sees some students wearing masks, but most choose not to.
In my classes, most people don't wear a mask, but there's definitely some people that do.
Freshman Faith Duckworth praised DePaul's COVID response. She chooses to go without a mask because of the safety measures put in place.
I feel pretty safe here. I don't feel like I'll get it here just because of how safe they are.
Even though mask wearing is optional, all DePaul community members are required to show proof of vaccination against COVID-19, including a booster. According to the Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, COVID-19 vaccines help protect people from getting seriously ill, being hospitalized, or dying after contracting the virus. Wearing a mask helps prevent COVID spread, but some people are ready to move on from current safety measures. According to Craig Klugman, a health sciences professor at DePaul who has worked on the university's health team, people aren't emotionally ready to stop everything.
So yeah, I think that in general in the United States, that people have fatigue. They have compassion fatigue, they have pandemic fatigue, and they're tired. And they have this great desire to go back to the time before, their life the way it was. The virus doesn't know about this yet.
DePaul student Nicholas Perez Garcia also sees a shift in the attitude towards COVID.
Okay. I know COVID isn't exactly like gone yet, but for the most part, it's not on everyone's mind right now.
Klugman says that fighting COVID-19 has gone from a group effort to an individual problem.
So we have moved from this, sort of community standard, this community focus, to now you're on your own. And if you don't want to get to the disease, then you should take the effort. You should isolate yourself because nobody else is going to do it. And that is unfortunately where we are at today.
Sophomore Kirsten Miller continues to wear her mask on campus to protect herself and her close contacts. Miller accepts DePaul's mask optional policy, but wants students to continue to be cautious about COVID-19 spread.
I mean, I understand it because I do think people are tired of it. I don't have a problem with it. It's just like we should exercise caution with people. Don't go to class if you're sick type of thing.
Even though cases are down, there are still many people contracting the virus and dying each day.
It still makes this the fourth or fourth or fifth leading cause of death in the United States. Like more people are dying of COVID than die of kidney disease or die of accidents. It's a really high number.
Many experts feel that the only way to beat the virus is to keep up with health and safety protocols. Klugman recommends getting the new bivalent vaccine that protects against variants and continuing to wear masks.
I just want to, really recommend that everybody get their vaccines if they haven't got one. And so please consider wearing a mask when you're indoors with other people, because you don't know what's going on with their life and who they might be protecting from the virus.
Here at DePaul, community members can pick up free rapid COVID tests from the Office of Health Promotion and Wellness in Lincoln Park and the Office of Student Affairs in the Loop. Hand sanitizing and surgical mask stations are also positioned across campus.
Regardless of whether you choose to wear a mask or not, remember to take care of yourself, take care of others, and take care of DePaul. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Lily Lowndes.
A big gift for DePaul School of Nursing, a $2 million gift. It comes from a DePaul alum, Susan Hadam Schoenholz, and her husband, David. It will be used to provide recognition and financial assistance to students pursuing both bachelor's and master's degree in the School of Nursing. This fall, the school relaunched its Bachelor of Science in Nursing program, a program that trains students to enter the nursing field.
A major loss for the DePaul community. John Brennan, a member of the university's Board of Trustees, died suddenly on October 3rd. He was 60 years old.
At the University of Arizona, a former student recently shot and killed a professor. The shooting occurred in a building on the university's main campus. The victim was Professor Thomas Mexner, head of the Department of Hydrology and Atmospheric Sciences. A suspect was arrested, 46-year-old Murad Dervish. No word yet on what prompted the shooting.
Barnard College in New York City is preparing to offer abortion pills next year. The university says, quote, Barnard will expand student options by ensuring that our campus providers are prepared and trained in the provision of medication abortion by fall 2023. The school says it is doing so because of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the 1973 court ruling that legalized abortion. Barnard says the recent court decision will have negative consequences for women's futures.
It's called Inferno, a dark comedy produced in 2019. The crew members were from DePaul School of Computing and Digital Media. The 30-minute pilot depicts a day in the life of an aspiring attorney working at an unethical law firm. Good Day DePaul Selah Estelle reports the program is now streaming on the Roku channel.
Well, you're not doing anything illegal.
Like practicing law without a license?
What do you mean?
4 times today.
No, now you're just
4
exaggerating.
Times. It's a criminal misdemeanor.
Tommy, your last interview was at Jamba Juice.
I remember. But these people are coming in here. They keep coming in here just desperate and vulnerable, and they're getting screwed.
The film took over a year to make and was directed by Professor Wendy Roderweiss of DePaul's College of Computing and Digital Media. It was part of Project Blue Light, DePaul's professional motion picture production company, where professional actors and department heads work with the student crew. Professor Roderweiss talked about the experience.
For me, it was really wonderful because I love to teach, obviously, and I got to direct and teach at the same time, which is a really unique experience. But the entire production was run like an actual production in the real world. We had casting, we used a wonderful local casting company, professional actors, some of the best actors in Chicago, and said, hey, look, this is gonna also be a learning experience for our students. Are you on board with that? And they were 100% on board and even participated in our class time that we had during the day. Specifically talking about the directing, it was a challenging shoot in that it was 11 days, and that's a little bit longer. And we had, as I described, the entire pilot takes place in one interview. So with most productions, you don't shoot in order. You're jumping all over the place and trying to keep track of where we were, what we had just shot, what we were about to shoot. So many characters, so many things going on. It was definitely a challenge, but I had an amazing crew and just absolutely incredible actors that made my job much easier.
DePaul alum Lauren Berry was one of 26 members of the student crew. She shares her experiences in this complex behind-the-scenes role.
Lovely in the fact that you got to work alongside individuals who were already in the union, without having all of the pressure. It was a very educational environment, and you get to work alongside some of your friends, but also new individuals that you never got to meet, and you were chosen. So I loved it, and it ended up helping me a lot in regards to going further into my career as a director of photography, cinematographer in that light. Some things that I might not have ever gotten if it wasn't for that set opening doors for me to be prepared to work on, at least because I came from the commercial side, the more episodic, televised, film based like sets and productions.
The next project in the pipeline will be a feature film focused on the Chicago-based underground music scene, all inspired by her past. Once she gets the money for it, she plans to involve students in the production. Reporting for Good Day DePaul, I'm Selah Estelle.
DePaul Public Safety is reporting a carjacking near the Lincoln Park campus. It occurred on October 11th, just after midnight, at the northeast corner of Montana and Seminary. Public Safety says a man approached an Uber Eats driver as the driver was getting out of his vehicle. The man reportedly demanded the vehicle and pushed the driver away. No weapon was shown and no other details are being reported at this time. Next on Good Day DePaul, a DePaul soccer player is competing on a national level for her home country.
That story and more when Good Day DePaul returns.
Today, the heroes that fight day in and day out on the front lines. Those who are there, innovating in real time, saving lives and answering the call to care in times of crisis. American nurses. Nurses who have been there for each and every one of us in times of crisis for more than 150 years. Nurses are the pillar of strength and the foundation of healthcare and life itself. Nurses are there the day we are born. They are there when your family is in crisis, and they are there in the end. In confronting the most catastrophic health crisis in modern history, we must remember our American nurse heroes need our support as much as we need them. To show our gratitude for their courage and ensure they receive the critical education and support services they need, donate to the Coronavirus Response Fund for Nurses today, in honor of your American nurse hero.
In sports, the DePaul's men's soccer team finished with back-to-back ties against Big East opponents Seton Hall and Georgetown. The Blue Demons are now 3-3-5 on the season.
The DePaul women's soccer team has now lost 5 in a row, with their record falling to 2-10.
Despite the team's problems, one bit of good news for one of the women's soccer players. Freshman forward Freya Jupe from England recently played for the British national team. Jupe competed in the European Championship qualifying matches.
In volleyball, DePaul lost 2 straight Big East games to Seton Hall and St. John's. The Blue Demons are now 6-12 for the season.
Coming up, DePaul will be holding a big inaugural ceremony for President Robert Manuel.
The details when we return.
The flu is unpredictable and can be serious. Who needs to be vaccinated against the flu? You. Get a flu vaccine. For more information, www.flu.gov.
On November 11th, DePaul will inaugurate its new president, Robert Manuel. The ceremony will be held at Holtschneider Performance Center on the Lincoln Park campus. It will run from 1 to 2 p.m. and will be followed by a celebration at McGrath-Phillips Arena. If you're interested in attending the inauguration, there will be limited seating, so a lottery is being held for those hoping to get tickets.
That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu.
And make sure to check us out on Facebook.
And if you have any news tips, message us through the Good Day DePaul social media channels.
Thanks for watching. I'm Alyssa Gomez.
And I'm Shaden Gomez. Have a good day, DePaul.